a little roadworks. You know those little tents that they have, that they do roadworks in? And then we found out it wasn't a tent for roadworks. It was people with directional mics and cameras from one of the Sunday newspapers. So it's... I've got to tell everyone that my baby needs a feed. She's not grumpy.
That we will have to stop for.
I feel like she's just letting the side down to Australia.
When Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily was born, Michael helped deliver her at home.
When she was born, just lifted her up, and it was that sort of triumphant moment with this baby. And it was great. It was the best. It was the best day of our lives, both of us. He said it was better than doing Wembley.
That's something.
You know, and I don't want people to take that away from her, you know, that she had a father that really adored her.
Among the many hurtful things Paula has had to read since Michael's death are reports claiming Michael had never wanted this child. After months of private grieving, she wants to set the record straight.
We had a year of fertility treatment, so obviously our doctor was able to confirm all of that. In fact, our doctor never really forgot our fertility treatment, because Michael was one of the few people that, you know, he was led into the cubicle with the pile of penthouse and in fact had to go home.
But he wanted the child so much.
Yeah,
that together you went through that.
Yeah, we did.
Paula says, although Michael was deeply depressed at the end, Tiger was his great joy, his very reason to live.
And Michael just couldn't believe what it was like living with a baby, especially a baby this silly.
She's walking, she come my way.
On the day before he died, In Excess were rehearsing in Sydney, about to begin an Australian tour. Michael had every reason to look to the future. He was being courted by Hollywood producers, was working on a solo album, and above all, he thought he'd soon be with Paula.
One of the things we always did say, and both of us said, was that we would get married when it was all over.
Had he asked you to marry him?
Yeah, he'd asked me to marry him. I think we would have already done it by now. Yeah. I'm almost certain we would have done it around Christmas.
It's hard for anyone, even those closest to Michael, to understand why he took his life here in Sydney. Paula says there's no doubt he was devastated by a delay in her custody battle, which meant she and her daughters couldn't join him in Australia. He was nervously waiting for your phone call. What did you tell him?
I just said it's been postponed. I can't come until after the 17th of December. And he said, I'm going to ring Bob and I'm going to beg him. And he was heard begging. He was heard shouting, she's not your wife anymore. You know...
Was he desperate?
I think he was desperate to see me. It had been a couple of weeks. We didn't like being apart at all.
The coroner ruled that deep in depression and influenced by drugs and alcohol, Michael committed suicide. There were suggestions at the time that his death was a result of a sex act gone horribly wrong.
All you gotta do is walk right in.
The coroner ruled that out. But Paula Yates believes the coroner got it wrong. Do you think it was an accident then?
In as much as it's an accident when you're doing something like that, I don't think he meant to die.
It was not a subject he discussed with you? This
What,
idea
suicide?
The idea of not burning out.
Oh God, no,
rusting
Michael
away.
thought suicide was the most awful thing in the whole